All right, the Kent State Golden Flashes take on the Ohio Bobcats. And that's going to be a 6:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off on Friday, January 7th, 2022. And it's the Ohio Bobcats who are the 8-point favorite at home with a total at 135.5. And if you want to see which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally, there's only one way to do that, and that's to sign up for a membership on my website at rockpage.com. And following yet another losing day of premium sports picks on that website, we did manage to improve to 10-5 in our last 15 $1.99 daily best plays on that very webpage. And the good news is we have another $1.99 daily best play going off here this evening. And the link for that pick is in the description section below. Now, if you're still a little bit on the fence about getting a package on my website, I certainly couldn't blame you with the way I've been losing games here recently, but just keep in mind you're not alone. We currently have over 800 members who are signed up and active on that page right now, and we're looking to bounce back. Whenever we hit kind of a valley, we always end up climbing back and hitting a peak. I'm very confident about my premium picks today, so certainly think about maybe signing up for that website. But regardless of all that, let's go ahead and talk about this game. Now, as good as Ohio has been thus far in the season, they have had a bit of a tough time covering the point spread this year. As a matter of fact, Ohio failed to cover in 7 out of their last 10 ball games. And they also have a losing record against the spread on their home court. Meanwhile, defensively, Ohio is allowing 70 points per contest at home. And they're letting their opponents make nearly 48% of their field goals against them in front of their home crowd. They're taking on a conference opponent in Kent State, who's on a 2-game winning streak themselves. And they held their opponents to just 65 points or less in both of those conference victories. And speaking of defensive play, the Golden Flashes are allowing only 62 points per contest overall for the season. And they're also limiting their competition to just 26% shooting from three land away from home. Now, scoring-wise, Sincere Carey is scoring nearly 17 points a game, along with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Meanwhile, teammate Malik Jacobs is averaging almost a dozen a night himself, along with 6 boards and a couple assists. Now, Kent State's covered the number against the likes of Toledo, Detroit, and George Washington this year as well. When it comes to the total in this one, 6 out of the Golden Flash's last 8 qualifying ball games fell under the posted number. Meanwhile, Ohio went 70% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Kent State plus 8 and the under 135.5. Next ball game, Big East action. I'm talking about Marquette versus Georgetown. And that's going to be a 6:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Marquette Golden Eagles are minus 2.5 with the total at 153. But despite being favored in this one, Marquette has lost 4 out of their last 5 ball games, and they average only 66 points a game in those losses. Now, the Golden Eagles are making only 32% of their three-pointers. Meanwhile, defensively on the other end of the court, they're allowing 75 points a game away from home. So certainly some problem areas on both ends of the court. Keep those factors in mind if you're looking to bet on this game. Now, they're taking on a Georgetown squad who won 3 out of their last 4 themselves. And they averaged over 84 points a night during that stretch. And as a matter of fact, one of those victories during that span was against Syracuse, where they racked up 79 total points. Now, Aminu Muhammad is scoring over 14.5 points a game, along with 8 rebounds and nearly 40% shooting from three land. And speaking of three-pointers, Caden Rice is making 43% of his long balls, and he's scoring 14 points a game himself. Now, Georgetown is currently in the top 15 in the country in shooting from downtown as a team. They're actually drilling over 43% of their three-pointers on their home court. Now, total-wise, when it comes to the number in this one, the Hoyas' last 2 straight got over the posted number. They also went 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, Marquette, on the other side of things, they saw 3 out of their last 4 get over the posted total themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lead toward Georgetown plus 2.5 in the over 153. Next contest going into the Ivy League. Talking about Brown versus Harvard, 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Harvard Crimsons -3 with the total at 139.5. And in addition to their current 3-game winning streak, Harvard's gone 7-1 straight up on their home court this year. Now the Crimson scoring over 76 points a game, and they're led by Chris Ledlum, who's scoring nearly 17 points a night, along with 9 boards. Meanwhile, Luka Sakota is drilling over 41% of his three-pointers himself. He's averaging nearly a dozen points a game. And when it comes to the defensive play of Harvard, well, the Crimson's limiting their competition to just 40% shooting from the field on their home court. Now they're taking on a Brown University team who's on a 4-game losing streak, and they failed to cover the point spread in all 4 of those losses. Now defensively, Brown is allowing 73 points a game when they travel. Meanwhile, offensively, they're making only 28% of their three-pointers away from home. They've been very little threat shooting from beyond the arc. Now total-wise, the Bears' last 7 straight all got over the posted number. Meanwhile, Harvard, on the other side of things, they saw contests with UMass, Colgate, and Siena recently get over the line themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Harvard -3 in the over 139.5. Next ball game, we're going to stay in the Ivy League. I'm talking about Cornell versus Penn, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern start time. The Penn Quakers are -4.5 with the total at 157. And even though they're favored by a couple of buckets here, it's the Quakers who lost 8 out of their last 10 ball games, and they're scoring only 69 points a game at home. Meanwhile, defensively on the other end of the court, the Quakers have also struggled in that particular area of the game as well, as they're giving up nearly 77 points per contest. Now they're taking on a Cornell club who's been absolute covering machines here recently. The Big Reds successfully covered the point spread in 8 out of their last 9 ball games, and they've also been terrific shooting the basketball. Cornell's currently in the top 25 in the country in offensive field goal percentage. And they're also averaging 86 points per contest. A lot of good things going on here with Cornell. And leading scorer now, keep an eye on their leading scorer, Jordan Jones. He's currently battling a leg injury. He hasn't been ruled out, but he is a little bit banged up. He's currently questionable, so keep an eye on his status tonight. That in mind, though, it's actually his teammate, Keller Boothby, who's drilling 56% of his three-pointers this year. He's also making 90% of his free throws. This guy cannot miss. Meanwhile, 6'5" guard Chris Mannon is also averaging nearly double-digit points a game, along with 3 rebounds. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Cornell is 7-1 to the over in their last 8 ball games. Penn is 4-0 to the over in their last 4 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the underdog, Cornell Big Red, +4.5 in the over 157. That should actually end up being a pretty fun game to watch. But anyway, next and final matchup of the show, it is going to be Xavier versus Butler, 8:30 Eastern tip-off. The Xavier Musketeers are -6.5 with the total at 131. Now, Xavier's gotten the W in 7 out of their last 8 ball games, and they successfully covered the number in 75% of those contests I just mentioned. The Musketeers are scoring 76 points a game, and they're actually doing a really nice job of getting rebounds offensively. Nate Johnson is scoring over 13 points per contest, and he's shooting 46% from three-land. Meanwhile, Jack Nunge is averaging 12.5 points a game himself, along with 7 rebounds. Now, when it comes to the defensive play of the Musketeers, well, Xavier is limiting their competition to just 38% shooting from the field. They're taking on a Butler squad who already struggles to score with the basketball. They're averaging just 61 points a game in front of their home fans this year, and they're amongst the worst teams in the country in offensive rebounding at home as well. Now, the Bulldogs have also done a pretty poor job of covering the point spread here recently. They failed to cover the number in 6 out of their last 9 ball games. When it comes to the total in this one, Butler's last 4 straight all fell under the posted number, 7-2 to the under in their last 9. Meanwhile, Xavier on the other side of things, they saw their last 2 straight fall under the posted total themselves. Both were in-conference Big East games, by the way. I'm going to go ahead and lean towards Xavier, -6.5. And the under 131. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at brockpage.com, where we are currently 10-5 in our last 15, $1.99 daily best plays. I like Kent State +8 under 135.5. Georgetown +2.5 over 153. Harvard -3 over 139.5. Cornell +4.5 over 157. Give me Xavier -6.5 under 131. As far as all the other games go across the country here tonight on a Friday night, I'm going to lean toward Incarnate Word +4.5 under 147.5. I think this is the first time I've ever picked Incarnate Word on my channel in any sport. Give me Lehigh +6 over 144. Boston University -7.5 under 134. Southeast Louisiana -2 over 148.5. Navy Midshipmen -10.5 under 139. Cleveland State -8 over 141. Columbia +16 over 148.5. Lafayette -3.5 under 137. Fairfield -3 under 135. UW Milwaukee +4 over 136.5. Youngstown State -5 over 142.5. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward Texas A&M Corpus Christi +3.5 in the over 149. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on brockpage.com. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on my website, just keep in mind you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a membership here today on brockpage.com, you're going to get access to those picks all the way through the end of January. I always tell folks in every single video, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And if you want to get access to every single pick that I give out on that website, well, you're going to want to think about signing up for my board member package, where board members get access to every single pick that I give out on that website all the way through the end of January. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at brockpage.com.